Why do we sit here being silent, watching our leaders turn into tyrants? Have they forgotten which side they're fighting for? Checks and balances set aside and rule of laws, youth and ours, and Constitution openly ignored. Man, I'm not okay. Think we are being played. Is it time for right and left to join a greater cause? Man, I'm not okay. The rich claim to be victimized just to attack the marginalized. Is 1% really worth more than all the sick and poor? Always preaching about fellowship while planning their dictatorship. Now we've seen how all of this plays out before. Man, I'm not okay. Think we are being played. Time for you and I to join our country's call. Man, I'm not okay. Ever wonder all the mystery? Why they whitewash our history? Keep dividing is their plan. All in all, such a scam. Algorithm very sly, only used to spread the lies. Politicians know well, hate is simple to upsell. Man, I'm not okay. Think we are being played. Time for you and I to join our country's call.
We are not okay. America is not okay, and we all know that. Former Congressman Joe Walsh, this is The Social Contract with Joe Walsh. Let's figure out how to get okay together. Hey, they're all chicken shits. How about I start there? All of my former Republican colleagues are chicken shits. All of my former right-wing MAGA talkers, just a bunch of chicken shits. A bunch of cowards. They will blame anybody under the sun except for Trump. They will point a finger at every single person who works in the Trump administration, but they will never point a finger at Trump. They will look at these Epstein files, this Epstein cover-up. It is a cover-up. It's a huge national cover-up. And they'll get pissed. All the MAGA talkers, all of my former right-wing radio colleagues and my former Fox News colleagues, they will say, oh my God, this Epstein file shit, this is a massive cover-up. And they'll say, heads need to roll. Somebody needs to be held accountable for this Epstein cover-up. Somebody needs to be fired. Somebody needs to be in jail. You. They'll do that until the cows come home, and they'll blame everyone for the Epstein files cover-up, except, you know what I'm going to say. They'll blame everyone for this massive cover-up, except the guy responsible for the cover-up. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? The guy who's in charge, the guy who initiated the cover-up, the guy who's calling the shots on everything related to the Epstein files cover-up, they won't ever blame him. He's the president. He's the guy in charge, don't you know? But they won't blame him. They'll blame Steve Bannon, other people found in the files. They'll blame people who work for Trump. It does sort of still kind of crack me up, but it pisses me off too. Because I I stood in the public square almost 8 years ago, and I pointed a finger at Trump, and I said, Trump is responsible for all of this. Trump is the fascist. Trump is un-American. Trump lies as he breathes. It's him, not people who work for him. It's him. And because I said that, I lost everything. So it still pisses me off that these guys in my former world of right-wing media who have their radio shows and their podcasts and their Fox News appearances or their Fox News shows, man, they are so pissed off and they'll blame everyone but Trump because they can't blame Trump, because if they publicly go there and blame Trump, they're going to lose their podcast. They're going to lose their show. They're going to lose their audience. They won't get reelected. I get all of that. Pam Bondi, hey, I sit before you this Thursday. Thought it was Wednesday. It's Thursday. This Thursday morning, I sit with you, and Pam Bondi yesterday, full on, an utter disgrace, a national embarrassment. She testified for 5 hours and she didn't. All she did was she had her little binder of talking points and attack lines, and all she did. You know what? You want to summarize 5 hours of Pam Bondi yesterday? It was a congressman or a Democratic congressman or a congresswoman would ask Pam Bondi yesterday, Miss Bondi, there are survivors. Epstein's victims are in the room right now. A bunch of them sitting behind you. Miss Bondi, will you acknowledge their presence? And Pam Bondi would shriek, the Dow is up 50,000. Acknowledge that. Like her answer to everything was, man, Donald Trump is the greatest. The Dow is up. The market's up 50,000. You're all making a lot of money. She was a disgrace and an embarrassment. But here's the key. She works for him. Do you understand that? Yesterday, for 5 hours, Pam Bondi didn't say or do anything that Donald Trump didn't demand she say or do. You understand that? Like, and I've been fascinated by the reaction to Pam Bondi's testimony from leading conservative and MAGA media voices. Eric Erickson, let's lead with that one, Keith. Eric Erickson is a well-known right-wing radio talk show host. He put this out yesterday. When the Attorney General of the United States is asked why she has prosecuted no one related to Jeffrey Epstein, and this is her answer, talking about the Dow is up 50,000, she should be fired or resign. So here's a MAGA right-wing radio talk show host demanding that Pam Bondi be fired or resign when he knows, and he says it, neither will happen. Thanks, Keith. What a disingenuous, cowardly thing to post. Like, and this is really important. Eric Erickson is a well-known right-wing radio talk show host. He makes a living having an audience. So he goes after Pam Bondi and says Pam Bondi should be fired? What bullshit. Eric Erickson knows that Pam Bondi yesterday for 5 hours said exactly what Donald Trump wanted her to say. Eric Erickson knows full well Trump's not going to fire her. She did what Trump wanted her to do. See, that's what's such bullshit about a take like this. I'm a right-wing talker. I'm going to demand that Pam Bondi be fired. Bullshit. You know she won't be fired. You know Pam Bondi is just a tool for Donald Trump. Yesterday, she did everything Trump wanted her to do. Eric Erickson, you know that. But It's too easy. It's too easy for MAGA talkers and right-wing talkers, I come from that world, to say fire Pam Bondi. That's such an easy thing to say. It's a useless thing to say because she's just a tool for Donald Trump, and you know it won't happen. But here's the point. Eric Erickson, the right-wing talkers, they can't say what I just said. They can't say Trump's responsible for the cover-up. They can't say Trump told Pam Bondi to say what Pam Bondi said yesterday, which is the truth, because if they do that, if they point a finger at Trump, man, they're going to lose their audience. And eventually they're going to lose their show. They're going to lose their livelihood. So they can't blame Trump. That's why I don't give any right-wing talker out there who's coming down on Pam Bondi and saying this is a big cover-up, the Epstein files thing. It's a big cover-up. Somebody's got to be fired. I don't give them any credit for saying that when they won't go after the man entirely responsible for the cover-up. The entire Epstein files scandal, this entire thing, this entire cover-up, the reason why nobody in America has been held responsible or accountable for being best pals with Epstein, for abusing and raping young women. The reason why that hasn't happened here, unlike in European countries where heads have rolled, the reason that hasn't happened here is because Trump is in the White House, and Trump won't let it happen. He's ordered it not to happen. And Eric Erickson knows that. But he can't point a finger at Trump because that will impact his livelihood. He wasn't the only one. I woke up this morning to this dude on Newsmax. You got that one, Keith? This just cracks me up. A Newsmax host, I'm forgetting his name right now, doesn't matter, accuses the Trump administration, of Epstein cover-up, and he says somebody needs to go to jail for it. And then his entire piece, thanks, Keith, his entire piece on the show was, somebody's got to be fired for this. Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, he rattled off some names. Somebody's head must roll. It's got to roll, man. We need a scalp. Somebody needs to be fired. Somebody needs to go to jail. Trump. How about the guy responsible for the cover-up? How about he be fired? Newsmax guy. How about he goes to jail? Trump, Newsmax guy. He's the one responsible for the cover-up, not Pam Bondi, not Kash Patel. Donald Trump's the guy in charge, right? Newsmax host. He's dang gummit. He's the president. He's calling the shots. He's responsible. He tells Pam Bondi what to do and what to say every day. Pam Bondi, for, almost a year now, has been holding back. And who knows what else she and her Justice Department colleagues have been doing, getting rid of all references to Trump and on and on and on, but covering up the names, purposely keeping the Epstein files hidden. Pam Bondi's been doing all of that. She's been carrying out all of that, but you do understand she's been doing all of that at the behest of Donald Trump. Donald Trump told Pam Bondi, cover this shit up. Newsmax guy, like, you get that, right? There's no way on God's green earth Pam Bondi does anything without Trump's approval. But yet, Newsmax guy won't point a finger at Trump. It's always got to be somebody else. Pam Bondi is just carrying out Trump's orders. She's an absolute tool. It's not super courageous to go after the tool when you're afraid to go after the boss, the guy calling the shots. And I've had so many, because I engage with MAGA folk every day. This is most of what they say. They just refuse to blame Trump for it. The guy in charge of the cover-up, they refuse to blame him. It's everybody else. It's everybody else's fault. As a rule, I don't criticize Trump's voters because I used to be one way back in the day, but I will criticize his media cheerleaders till the cows come home. And they're cowards. They're lying when they blame Bondi, Patel, whoever. They know Trump's behind all of this. But see, if you're a right-wing radio talk show host, or you're a right-wing podcaster, or you're a right-wing conservative guy that's on Fox News all the time, or you have a Fox News show or a Newsmax show or a OAN show, One American Network show, if you're any of that, and I used to be that, and you point a finger at Trump, you blame Trump, you criticize Trump, you say Trump's the problem. If you do that, if you're a Republican member of Congress, of which I used to be, and you do the same, you point a finger at Trump, you criticize Trump. If you're a right-wing media talker, you lose your job. You lose your livelihood. If you're a Republican member of Congress, you lose your office. You lose in a primary. You lose your seat of power. And when I'm asked all the time, why don't they blame Trump? Why don't they come out and speak out against Trump? It's not more complicated than that. They look and they've seen what happened to me, what happened to Adam Kinzinger and a few others, losing your livelihood, losing any place in the Republican Party, losing your audience. I mean, taking a blowtorch to your career, which is what I did. They don't want that to happen. It's not more complicated than that. So they'll continue to scream about Pam Bondi or Steve Bannon. Did you hear Steve Bannon was pals with Jeffrey Epstein? That's horrible, man. Bannon should be banished. That's what they've been saying the last week. Get that, right? How funny is that? Steve Bannon, it turns out, was pals with Jeffrey Epstein. Banish him. Donald Trump was best pals with Jeffrey Epstein, and they don't say squat about Trump. By the way, this reminds me of, not to plug my Substack, but the piece that my meltdown, the piece we put in last night and this morning on Substack. Keith, I think you have the graphic of that. That's supposed to be a picture of Nikki Haley straddling a fence, the Trump fence. I kind of went off on this issue. Keep that up for a sec, Keith. Like, again, almost 8 years ago, I stood up in the public square and I publicly came out against Trump. And I publicly told the full truth about Trump. And because I did that almost 8 years ago, I lost everything. I took a blowtorch to my career. And I still get really, really pissed off at Republicans like Nikki Haley who try to straddle that Trump fence, who try to play both sides with Trump, who try to just meekly criticize some things Trump does, but never tell the full truth about Trump. Nikki Haley, you can take down, Keith, thank you. Nikki Haley did that yesterday. Nikki Haley went on Fox News and she talked about how bad the economy was. And she blamed Republicans for not doing well with the economy. She threw Trump's name in there just a little bit for not doing enough on affordability. But in the same interview, she said, oh, but man, I'm so glad Kamala Harris isn't president. Like she took a little jab at Republicans and Trump because they're not doing really well on affordability. I mean, think about that for a moment, Nikki Haley. Trump's been president for a year and 2 weeks. Every day for the past year and 2 weeks, Donald Trump has done every day hundreds of ugly, cruel, dishonest, fascist, un-American, anti-democratic, I think I covered, unconstitutional things. Donald Trump has demonstrated in the past year and 2 weeks that he is a fascist. He is a legit threat to the Constitution, the rule of law, and democracy. He's utterly un-American. He lies every time he opens his mouth. And here comes Nikki Haley a year and 2 weeks later, and she meekly criticizes Trump. He needs to do a better job on affordability. That's all you got, Nikki? Everything Trump's done. He's got fucking heavily armed, masked federal thugs on our streets, detaining and disappearing and terrorizing brown and black folk, terrorizing immigrants and citizens alike. But Nikki Haley, all you got is Trump needs to do a better job on affordability. Donald Trump has run roughshod over the Constitution, denied due process to thousands of people, done his best to shut down free speech. He's extorted universities and private companies all over this country. And the best you got, Nikki, is he's got to do something. He's got to do a little better when it comes to the price of beef. Same cowardly thing. Nikki Haley, and there are many like her, wants to stay viable as a Republican. Now, to do that, she can't do what I did and just say what she knows about Trump, the full truth about Trump. He's a fucking fascist. He's an existential threat to democracy and the rule of law. She can't say all of that, because if she said all of that, the full truth about Trump, and I know that Nikki Haley believes that full truth, but if she said that, she ain't going to be a viable Republican anymore. So she wants to keep one foot kind of in the Republican camp as best as she can. And every now and then she'll like just pull out a little bit and tweak Trump a little bit because she's trying to stay viable. She might want to run for president as a Republican again, or run for governor again, or who knows what. And oh, by the way, the Nikki Haley's of the world and the Mike Pence's of the world and the Mitt Romney's of the world. Mitt Romney, who said Trump is bad, but Mitt Romney couldn't bring himself to vote for the only person in 24, Kamala Harris, who could keep the bad guy out of the White House. Mike Pence, the same thing. I can't vote for Trump, Mike Pence said, but oh my God, I can't vote for the only person, Kamala Harris, who could beat Trump. They will never go that far, because if you go that far like I did, again, you end your career as a Republican. I've said a bunch, and I said it in this Substack piece today. In this age of Trump, there have been 4 types of Republicans. Number one, the true believer MAGA crazies, they're all in. They believe everything he says. They're hardcore MAGA. That's group one. And by the way, that group, there's my Substack. Thanks, Keith. I think it's a pretty interesting piece. Check it out. And the MAGA true believer crazies, that is the group that's growing the fastest. You need to know that. It's not a wing of the Republican Party. MAGA is the Republican Party. That's group one. Group two is all the current Republicans who privately believe Trump is a piece of shit, but they won't say that publicly, and they pretend they're MAGA. They pretend they love Trump publicly. They support Trump publicly. Behind his back, they say he's a fucking idiot and he's a danger to democracy and the rule of law. This is group number two. There are a lot of them out there. It's probably the second biggest group of Republicans. And they're a bunch of cowards because they pretend to be MAGA to stay in office. The third group is folks like me and Adam Kinzinger and Liz Cheney and Jeff Flake and a handful of others who came out full on against Trump and told the truth about Trump, the full truth, and publicly opposed Trump. This is the smallest group of Republicans and former Republicans, because if you did that, you are either a former Republican like me, or you're somebody like Adam Kinzinger, who's still a Republican, but he's got no seat at the Republican table. The fourth group of Republicans in this age of Trump are the Nikki Haleys, who try to straddle the Trump fence, who try to do the good and the bad about Trump, who are afraid to say the full truth about Trump because they might want to run again. They want to stay in the Republican Party and be important and viable. And that's what Nikki Haley is trying to do. By the way, the funniest thing about this group of Republicans is you can't be almost pregnant. You can't just sort of give Trump a little bit of a hug. When it comes to Trump, you got to be all pregnant. And when it comes to Trump, you got to give him a big old down on your knees bear hug with everything you got. That's the funny thing. That's why these Republicans, that's why Nikki Haley, truthfully, has no future. Maybe she knows this. She has no future in the Republican Party. Now, Mitt Romney has no future. Mike Pence has no future. That's the damnedest thing. If they just had the courage of their beliefs and said what they believed about Trump, yeah, you can never get elected as a Republican again, but you can't get elected as a Republican trying to straddle the Trump fence. Anyways, that's a piece in today's Substack, Social Contract with joewalsh.substack.com. Check it out. Final thing I want to bring up this morning is, look, cut to the chase with my former political party. My former political party is now openly authoritarian. They are openly anti-free speech. They are openly anti-brown and black immigrants. They're openly bigoted. They are a pretty openly white Christian nationalist party. Like, they don't hide it anymore. Did you see what James Comer said about Ilhan Omar last night? Keith, do we have that headline? James Comer was on, what is that? News Nation. And he was talking about what Ilhan Omar said yesterday. Ilhan Omar posted or said she was upset about the Epstein files cover up. And Ilhan Omar rightly blamed the person responsible for the Epstein files cover up. That would be Donald Trump. And she called Donald Trump something like most likely a pedophile, and he's trying to protect his other pedophile friends. So James Comer, Republican, comes on News Nation last night, and instead of saying, I disagree with what Ilhan Omar said, I deplore what Ilhan Omar said, he didn't say that. You know what he said? He said, she needs to shut up. Ilhan Omar needs to keep her mouth shut. And he didn't stop there. He said she needs to go back to Somalia. Keep this up for a sec, Keith. Now think about that for a moment. Look at what my former political party has become. A party that can no longer just handle basic disagreement. James Comer and Ilhan Omar have a disagreement about Trump and the Epstein files. So instead of saying, I can't handle that, my former party can't handle disagreement, my former political party now needs to try to shut you up or censor you, take away your free speech. James Comer didn't say, I disagree with her. In fact, I don't like what she said. Here's why. Instead of saying that, right, just a disagreement, even a passionate disagreement, James Comer's response to Ilhan Omar's speech was, she needs to shut her mouth. She shouldn't be allowed to speak. My former political party, I mean, in a nutshell, is full-on anti-free speech. She needs to keep her mouth shut. And when you look at everything the Trump administration has done in this past year and 2 weeks, this is the most anti-free speech administration this country's ever had. No, I don't just disagree with you, Ilhan Omar. You need to shut your mouth. Somebody put tape over her mouth. We can't let her speak. Utterly anti-free speech, utterly authoritarian. And then the second part, go back to Somalia. So not only can my former political party no longer handle disagreement, if I disagree with you, I want you fucking deported. I want you out of this country. So my former political party no longer, right, and I've said this before, believes in this basic American principle of pluralism, right? A free society, and you got to accept that we're all different and we all have different voices and we all have different beliefs and we all pray to a different God and we all sleep with somebody different and ba, 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 ba. No, my former political party no longer accepts the basic American notion of pluralism. If your beliefs aren't mine, get the fuck out of the country. If your politics aren't mine, go back to the country you came from. Third piece here as I close. And this one, it pains me to say this. My former political party is pretty openly bigoted and way too often openly racist. It's not an accident that James Comer told Ilhan Omar to go back to Somalia. My former political party right now is openly attacking brown and black people, quite literally. My former political party is pretty open about, let's get brown and black immigrants the hell out of this country. I'll bet you $1,000 if a white Democratic member of Congress said what Ilhan Omar said, that Trump is covering up for his pedophile friends. If a white Democratic member of Congress said that, James Comer probably would have said, he or she needs to shut his or her mouth. But no way would James Comer have said, he or she needs to go back to Norway or needs to go back to Germany or Ireland or Canada. No, because my former political party is in open warfare against brown and black people, brown and black immigrants. It's really easy for them to say, go back to Uganda, go back to Somalia. Go back to Venezuela. This open bigotry, open racism, let me be redundant, is now in the open. And it just so saddens me that my former party has become this. What an ugly, ugly, racist, bigoted thing for James Comer to say. But he's not the only one. Look at what all Republicans have been saying. Look at what Trump says. Trump says something horrible about Somalians or every day of the week. And look at what they're doing on our streets. And I know I'm hearing from some of you on the left agreeing with me, but like, why am I so sad about this? I was a Republican for all of my adult life up until 6 years ago. This is the party from whence I came. And I hope you understand why everything I'm saying about my former political party right now still makes me sad. I didn't leave the party a year ago or 2 years ago, right? I left 6 years ago. But it still makes me sad, and it makes me sad and angry. We only have 2 political parties in this country, major political parties. By the way, that's wrong. By the way, we need a 3rd and a 4th because both parties have fucked it up and both parties have made it so impossible for another party to come to the fore. That's another topic for another day. But we've only got 2 major political parties in this country. And one of our 2 major political parties, think about this, has become an authoritarian embracing cult that is openly bigoted. White Christian nationalism is the most powerful animating force in one of America's 2 major political parties. That's some scary shit right there. Hey, thanks for listening. By the way, Paxis.app, there it is, Paxis.app. I'm not going to tell you yet, but I'm thinking this thing is this app, this Know Your Rights app that immigrants and citizens can use. It's amazing that this isn't out there yet, that nobody has put this out there yet. One place for everyone to go to know your rights and know how to lawfully, legally fight back against ICE. That's what our app is, Paxis.app. It's that tool. Check it out. And if you're inspired, we're GoFunding this thing. We're crowdfunding this thing because, and I get asked, why are you doing that, Joe? Trump can go after the CEO of Apple or the CEO of Google or whatever. If they wanted to put out a Know Your Rights app to lawfully fight back against ICE. In fact, Trump did that. He shut down Apple last year, creating kind of an anti-ICE app. Shut it down. He threatened Apple, and Apple backed down and didn't do it. Here's what we're doing. I'm not the big old CEO of a big old tech company. We're crowdfunding this thing, having everyday Americans contribute to this thing, because Trump can go after the CEO of a company, but he can't go after thousands and thousands of Americans. So there's strength in numbers, thousands and thousands of us who give $5, $50, or $500 to become part of this. This is why we're crowdfunding it. Paxis.app, check it out, read about it. Exciting stuff. And if you're up to it, give what you can and share that link, Paxis.app. Finally, guys, shoot me an email, anything on your mind. The Social Contract with Joe Walsh at gmail.com. That's all one word, The Social Contract with Joe Walsh at gmail.com. It's Thursday. I have finally figured that out. Have a good day. Be brave.
Thank you for listening. Remember to listen, follow, and share The Social Contract with Joe Walsh on Apple, Spotify. Plus, don't forget to subscribe to The Social Contract on Substack. This has been The Social Contract with Joe Walsh.